All right, I Can't Quit You Baby, Led Zeppelin 1. I mean, it's a blues. Now, but there's the part in there, there's the turnaround, which, you know, a classic, I think, where John Bonham, you know, I mean, I don't know the guy, but in the books they would say, John Bonham and John Paul Jones wanted to muck around with Jimmy Page. And, you know, part of the, you know, I had the change in the, ba, ba, by the way, Bonham had this thing where he would do singles, and I had a guy, well, I'm going to digress. Let me get to that after this, because I'll do a 10-minute digression to annoy everybody. Anyway, so, that turnaround, and I Can't Quit You Baby, it goes... Now, he does play variations on that, but you got to remember, it's one of those things where he, you know, obviously time is continued through there. You know, ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da bum bum ba da. You know what I'm saying? And you hear Jimmy Page get thrown off a couple times. It even sounds like Bonham almost throws himself off. But anyway, that's the paradigm of the fill he does. The big hi-hat. That was a great time, I think. I loved listening to John Bonham in those days. Anyway, but he also has some serious, people always kind of forget, he has the serious footwork. People are always like, good times, bad times. Don't get me wrong, yeah, I mean, actually, hang on a second. I actually have to, on this drums kit, because of the way the bass drum's tuned, I gotta play the pedal a little differently for that. Anyway, on this tune, on this studio recording, the triplets, well, the two parts of the triplet that he's doing on the bass drum in this song, to me is actually far more cooler than on Good Times, Bad Times. Even though it's the same thing, I mean, it's the same. Which, by the way, if you're seeing these videos, I have another video dedicated to that pattern, Good Times, Bad Times video, and so look there if you want some exercise on that or stuff. Or exercise that I do. Anyway, but he does like, now this is, I'm going to move this, I'm not going to lie to you. Playing that pattern on this bass drum, well actually this is, on this bass drum, the way this bass drum is tuned, is the song remains the same E bass drum tuning. The front, this head is actually relatively tightly tuned, but he does that. He goes. He does that a bunch of times in there. Now I can't. Now right now, I think if I was playing at the right tempo, I could not do it. If this was like a 22-inch, well, even a 26, which was like a power stroke 4 and a hole in the front head, you get a lot more. Well, for me, I get a lot more controllable return. So, in any case, it's very difficult for me to do it right now on this kit. But anyway, so that's what he does there. If you listen, it's really cool. That, I mean, that's like up the wazoo in there. He does that for like, I don't know, 12 bars. He goes crazy doing that. He's like... Let me, hang on a second. Let me detune the bass drum for a minute. That might work. That might help. I get a little more control if I do that. As hell. But anyway, listen to that though. There's hardcore John Bonham triplets in there. I want to keep this like this though. I gotta tune it back up because I was gonna play a couple the Zeppelin shows, and I really want to get my right foot back into shape. You got to work your right foot a lot to do that. You know, when you listen to like Bonham later live, you almost never hear him do that stuff because he probably didn't do a lot of it anymore. Your foot will lose its mojo. Anyway, so stand by. So what we do anyway? So where are we? So I Can't Quit You, Baby. From the bass drum work in there is unbelievable. That is something to practice too. In fact, I'm going to spend the next decade practicing that because I actually kind of used to be able to play that pattern. I think in other videos I do. Anyway, so then they go into that tune, and that's essentially the whole basis of the tune. It's like a blues. And then, let me see what, so again, anyway, the important thing, back to that one fill, I'd say that fill is probably the thing you gotta, well, if you want to play it the way he did, I mean, he kind of did the same launching point pattern on it. Okay, so that's essentially I Can't Quit You, Baby. I'm going to make sure there's nothing else in there. Oh, the version you hear on, sometimes on that turnaround, what he'd do is, especially live, if I remember now, on the live I Can't Quit You, Baby, he'd start that fill a little earlier, instead of like, he'd be like, okay, if you start that exact same fill, one triplet note earlier, it gives you room for the extra bass drum, which you'll hear him do sometimes. So again, so you have da da. Or ba ba. And technically speaking, I think I've actually, well, you could do it the other way too. Move it the other way instead of ba ba. Like ba ba. So you'd essentially then just move the whole chunk the other way. So you wouldn't have any. You know what I'm saying? You just have. You go right into the downbeat. So that's I Can't Quit You, Baby. Any questions or anything I missed or anything you think stinks? Just let me know.